Good morning, students. Our today's topic is continuous mappings. Under a continuous mapping, the image of a compact subset of a metric space is compact. So the theorem is, let X and Y are two metric spaces and T from X into Y be a continuous mapping. Then we prove that the image of the compact subset M of X under the mapping T, that is compact. So let us take M be a compact subset of X. We have to prove that the image of M under T is compact. Now the image of under T, that is denoted by T of M. So we prove that T of M is compact. So in order to prove this set is compact, let us take a sequence Yn in image of M. Now, because T of M is compact, and therefore by definition of compactness, it is sufficient to show that every sequence Yn in T of M has convergent subsequence and which converges in T of M. So we have taken the sequence Yn and we will prove that this sequence has a convergent subsequence in T of M. Now, because the sequence Yn is a sequence in T of M, it means Yn belongs to T of M. T of M means image of M under T. So Yn will be of the type T of Xn, where Xn is element of M. Now, because Xn belongs to M, it means Xn is a sequence in the set M. And because M is compact, therefore by definition of compactness, there exists a subsequence which will be convergent. So we get a subsequence, say Xnk of the sequence Xn, which converges to an element of M. That element we have taken as X. So the sequence Xnk converges to X. Now T is a continuous mapping, and under a continuous mapping, if a sequence converges to X, then the image of the sequence converges to the image of that element. So the image of Xnk converges to image of X. Now let us take, this is denoted by Ynk. So we can say that the sequence Ynk converges to T of X. It means we can say that the image of the sequence Xnk is a subsequence of Yn which is convergent in T of M because T is continuous. So this proves that T of M is compact. Now from this theorem, we can conclude the following property, which is a well-known property from calculus for continuous functions, carries over to metric space. So the theorem is, a continuous mapping T of a compact subset M of a metric space X into the set of real numbers assumes a maximum and a minimum at some points of M. So in order to prove this, now because M is compact and the mapping T, which is defined from X into R, that is continuous mapping. So by using the above theorem, under a continuous mapping, image of compact set is compact. Therefore we can say that T of M is compact, and also T of M is a subset of R because the mapping T is defined from X into R. Now because T of M is compact, compact set is closed and bounded, so T of M is closed as well as bounded. Now because closed and bounded subsets of set of real numbers assumes infimum and supremum, and therefore we can say that the supremum of Tm belongs to Tm and also infimum of Tm belongs to Tm, and the inverse image of these 2 points consists of the points of M at which T is maximum or minimum respectively. So this completes the topic of compactness and finite dimensions. Our next topic will be linear operators. As in the case of vector space, and in particular in case of normed spaces, a mapping is called an operator, and today we will discuss linear operators. So the definition is: a linear operator T is an operator such that the domain of T, which is denoted by dt, the domain of T, that is a vector space, and the range, which is denoted by RT, that lies in a vector space over the same field. And the second condition is: for every two elements x and y belonging to the domain of T, image of x plus y is equal to image of x plus image of y, and for a scalar alpha, the image of alpha x is equal to alpha into image of x. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then we say that the operator T is linear operator. Combining these two conditions are equivalent to the condition T of alpha x plus beta y is equal to alpha into T of x plus beta into T of y. Here alpha and beta are scalars, and x and y, these are the vectors from the domain of T. Now let us see some examples of linear operators. So the first example is identity operator. Identity operator defined on X is the operator from X into itself, defined by identity of X is equal to X for every element X belonging to X. This operator is a linear operator because if we check the conditions, the first condition, for every two elements x and y belonging to the set X, I of x plus y. Now by this definition, I of x plus y, that will be same as x plus y. Now because x is equal to I of x and y is equal to I of y, so we get image of x plus y is equal to image of x plus image of y. Now the second property, for a scalar alpha and the vector x belonging to x, I of alpha x. Now by definition of I, because I of x is x, therefore I of alpha x will be alpha x. Now again substituting the value, because x is I of x, so we have obtained I of alpha x is equal to alpha into I of x. So both conditions for linear operator are satisfied, and thus we can see that the operator I defined by I of x is equal to x is a linear operator, and it is called identity operator. Now the next example of linear operators is zero operator. Zero operator from a vector space X into the vector space Y is defined by 0 of X. Zero operator defined on X for taking an element X belonging to the vector space X, and image of X is 0 for every X belonging to the vector space. Means zero operator is defined in this way such that the image of every element of X is 0. This operator is called zero operator. Now the next operator is differential operator. Let us take a vector space X of all the polynomials defined on the closed interval AB, and we define a linear operator T on this vector space X by T of xt is equal to X dash T. Here this element X belongs to the vector space X, and this prime thus denotes differentiation of X with respect to T. This operator maps X onto itself and is called differential operator. One more example of linear operators is integration operator. A linear operator T defined from CAB into itself. CAB, this is a space of all real valued continuous functions defined on the closed interval AB. So the linear operator T defined on this space by T of X is equal to integral a to t of the function xt. Here this T belongs to the closed interval AB. The operator defined by this formula, that is called integral operator or integration operator. So these were some examples of linear operator.